What is your profession?
So here we have 1,000 points of Iron Hands today. Starting off over on the left, we have a 5-man Devastator squad with 4 missile launchers, a 5-man tactical squad with no upgrades, Razorback with twin las cannon, 5-man tactical squad with a melter and a combi melter in a Rhino with just 1 Stormbolter. Just 1 Stormbolter today. Company veterans, 3 of them, 2 with bolt pistol and chainsword, 1 with a plasma gun. We've got a captain who has a power fist, a grab pistol and the armor Indomitus. A lieutenant with a power sword and a mass-crafted bolter. Another 5-man tactical squad with plasma gun and combi grav. Another Rhino with a single Stormbolter. And finally another tactical squad with combi grav and plasma gun. One interesting thing to note about this army is Sam has painted them up so each individual marine is unique. Each one is a knight of their own household, a bit like Bretonians back in fantasy. So every single one has got a unique colour scheme, unique shoulder pads, and they're all sort of in gleaming, shining plate armour. So really interesting theme with this army. Let's see what they're up against today. So returning to the battlefield once more, we have the Scions. Starting off over here, we have 2 5-man melter squads. Each sergeant has a bolt pistol and chainsword. 2 command squads, each with 4 plasma gun. We have 2 Tempestus primes. This one has the rod of command, and this one has a power sword and bolt pistol. And his warlord trait today is going to be bellowing voice, and his relic is going to be the auto reliquary of Tiberius. So he's going to be issuing quite a few orders today. Coming over to the centre, we have 3 Dakar primes. Each one's got a Torx Gatling cannon and 2 hotshot volley guns. And then we have 2 9-man squads. Each one has got hotshot las guns. The sergeants have just got hotshot las pistols. And then over here we've got 2 5-man squads, 1 with 2 volley guns and a bolt pistol, and 1 with 2 melter guns and a bolt pistol and chainsword. That guy's also got a chainsword to say. So there we go, that's 1,000 points of Scions, taking on the noble houses of the Astartes. Field of battle after deployment. We've got 2 Scion Torx primes over here. We've got a 3rd one over here. The rest of the army is in the sky in reserve. The mission is Relic, and the objective are these barrels of Promethium on top of this warehouse. Moving over here, we've got the Spaceman deployment. 5 Devastators up top. The twin las cannon Razorback with the bolter squad inside. And then we have 2 Rhinos with the other units inside of them. Currently, the Space Marines have first turn. We'll see if the Scions can steal the initiative. Will the Scions be able to steal the initiative? No, that's a 2. So we'll be back at the end of Space Marine turn 1. A very quick Space Marine turn. The twin las cannon Razorback opened up on the Torx prime over there, but thanks to moving, it got a 2 and a 3 and therefore didn't hit with either shot. These missiles opened fire, they hit 3 times, they had to use a command point to make sure they got 2 wounds, and then they did 5 damage and didn't make either save. So that Torx has taken 5 damage now, it's indicated by that red dice on top. These 2 Rhinos moved up and popped smokes, they'll be -1 to hit next turn. Okay, so very quick Space Marine turn, let's see how the Scions can respond.
This is where it's going to get up.
So the Scions do what they do every game, they drop in, and they just eliminate a flank, but once they've dropped in they are relatively hard to keep alive. But they have come in, everything from this entire flank just fired in, bringing down the Devastators over here, blowing up the Rhino, and then using a combination of sort of volley gun fire and las gun fire just to bring them down. The AP -2 on the hotshot volley gun is really good in this situation, and good for digging out Devastators on top of these ruins. Yeah, a couple of wounds done to this Rhino as well. The popping smoke actually really helped increase its survivability. So it's Space Marine turn 2 now. They've taken a beating, but let's see what they can do to respond to this surgical strike of the Scions. So here we go, Space Marines turn 2. They got hit hard and they're hitting back even harder. Plasma gun over there managed to do 4 wounds on this Torx, and it was finished off by the grav gun the guys got out and lost 2 in scrabbling out of the wreckage. Over here, a few pot shots were made against this squad and 1 was slain, and the squad has picked up the relic. It's just balancing there, but it is this guy who holds the relic. So that was Space Marine turn 2. Not a bad display at all. Let's see how the Scions can respond. End of Scion turn 2, and it is not looking good for the Knights. The Scions just aren't missing a beat. They're not rolling super hot or super bad. They're just consistently just making their hits. They get it when they're in half range. That Scion trait is really kicking in. I will admit the Scions are getting quite a lot of 6s for those extra shots, and it is definitely helping. Basically over here, the melter guns plus the 2 plasma guns from this squad destroyed the Rhino that was on 8 wounds, and then the last 2 melter guns plus a lot of hotshot las guns fired into this squad. Sam was forced to use a command point to keep this guy alive. This Rhino didn't receive any damage, but the squad that was holding the relic on top, unfortunately, it received fire from this Torx Prime, a couple of these guys, 1 hotshot volley gun, and another Torx Prime here, and they have, unfortunately, it came down to the last wound, and Sam failed it. So we're going into the Space Marine turn 3. It's going to be very interesting what they can do. I think they're going to have to do some kind of heroic Space Marine sort of thing to try and pull it back, because they're facing down a lot of firepower. Oh, and also just to mention, all the units that dropped in here, the Plasma Squad, the Commander, and one of the 5-man Melter Squads hopped in that Torx Prime. So just in case you're wondering where those units ended up. The Space Marines had to do something epic that turn, and something epic they did. They absolutely cleaned this flank out. Melter Squad was just shot off. Plasma Squad was just shot off. This squad was butchered before they could even get a strike in. Over here, this squad charged in, did a wound to my Warlord, and in return he powered up his sword and was able to behead one in return. But he's not looking in a good situation there. So that's it. That is Space Marine turn 3. Let's see if the Scions can rescue their Warlord in there. So here we are, end of Scion turn 3. Bit of a mixed bag. Everything over here fired in to this Rhino, and we only did 9 wounds to it. A couple of lucky saves, but some pretty unlucky wounding. The melter guns completely whiffed, even with rerolling 1s, and wasn't in rapid fire into the plasma, so we were struggling to try and wound things with like hotshot las guns and stuff. But it is on 1 wound, so that's okay. It's very limited in mobility now. This cat came over here. It still got a 5-man melter squad in, and it fired everything into this guy and was able to kill him with just the volley guns. Didn't even need the Gatling gun. And finally, the Warlord has done a tactical retreat. He's not run away. It's a tactical retreat. But he is facing down a hell of a lot of angry Knights Astartes. So we're going to have to see what he can do. So very quick Space Marine turn. Very few Knights left on the field. Basically, these guys came over. And they melted the Warlord. He survived on 1 wound. Someone was very unlucky with his melter, but then someone just pulled out a bolt pistol and blew his head off. So it didn't really matter at that point. He was summarily executed by these Knights Astartes. They have claimed revenge for all their lost brethren. Everyone else, the 2 commanders and the 2 company vets, jumped in the very badly damaged Rhino, and that moved back 3 inches. They're going to use that to probably hop 9 inches out next turn, so that's going to be interesting. And it fired 2 storm bolters over at these guys, but unfortunately didn't get any hits because it's hitting on 5s now. So there's a lot of Scions left. There's only a few Knights Astartes left, but in the fluff this would be enough. Let's see if in reality it is. End of that was turn 4. Yep. Turn 4 Scions. They blew up the Rhino, and then very cleverly the Marine guys got out here, so it was difficult for me to see them. 1 Torx just evaporated the company veterans. The other Torx fired into the captain, and he popped off his Armour Indomitus 3+ Invuln save. So that meant only 1 wound from the volley guns made it through. If he hadn't had that, it would have been 3... Oh no, 3 wounds still made it through, sorry. And then he made 2 out of 3 6-up iron hand save, so he only took 1 wound. Then the Gatling cannon came in, did 8 or 9 wounds, and he didn't drop a single one. That captain is a true Knight Astarte. So it's going to turn 5 Space Marines now. It's going to be interesting. Let's see what they can do. Space Marine turn 5, potentially last turn of the game. It didn't quite go the way they wanted it. A few pot shot bolter shots into here just just missed, and I think there was one hit, and then just failed to wound. Must be tiring out those spaces. They have done quite a lot killing the warlord. And then over here, the captain came in and punched 5 wounds off the Taurox, but he didn't kill it. The lieutenant, unfortunately, didn't do any damage. So, potentially last turn of the game. We're going into Scion turn 5. Let's see what they can do. So, end of Scion turn 5, end of the game. It was pretty disgusting, really. The Scions came round here. The officer then used the order Force the Emperor so they could all shoot after advancing. He then used his final command point on them so that they could reroll 1s to hit. They claimed the objective, and then everything just unloaded. These guys had to target the lieutenant first, and they got exactly what they needed to kill him, down to the last wound. Not overkill, just as always a well-aimed shot lasgun through the eye socket of the lieutenant. That then allowed for the melter guns here and the melter guns up here to finish off the captain. That Taurox backed out there to get Linebreaker. So we've called it, that's the end of the game there. The Scions have the Relic, plus First Blood, plus Linebreaker, and this Astartes squad over here is all that remains, unfortunately. They have fought very bravely today, they just couldn't quite withstand the Alpha and then Beta strike. But they did manage to collect, this squad alone has scored all the points for the Astartes, and they got, not First Blood, Warlord and Linebreaker. Lots and lots of things to talk about in the after action report. I think I learned a lesson from the game against Death Watch. Don't deep strike everything in one go. With Scions, it is very good to have an Alpha and a Beta strike. So we'll talk about that in more depth in the after action report. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed seeing some Scions on the channel for a change. And I'll see you guys next time.